And not only that,
where's he at?
You're in danger of hell, man. You're in danger of hell. You know that God exists already. You already know. Okay, you believe in science? How do you know what's real and what's not real in science? How do you know that scientific experiments exist?
Scientifically, how was Jesus' name?
No. This is a philosophical question. How do you know that the perceptions of your mind are correct?
Please, elaborate.
Can you prove that you're perceiving reality correctly? Can you prove that your mind is giving you the correct perception of reality?
Where's the science?
So in my worldview, we can do science because God created us with minds to glorify Him and to do science in the world and to make sense of reality. But you believe in your own mind. You don't believe in revelation from the all-knowing being to tell us what's true about reality. So you can't be sure about reality because you could always be wrong, right? Can you prove that I exist? Can you prove that I exist?
Right, we can always be wrong.
Can you prove that He exists?
Right there.
Yeah, how do you know you're not perceiving an illusion?
You know what?
You're trusting in your own finite limited consciousness for truth. You can't justify beliefs with that worldview. Your worldview doesn't make sense, man. Your worldview is absurd. Your worldview is absurd. You can't make sense of reality with that worldview. Because you're trusting in limited consciousness for truth, right?
Understand what fucking the weird illogical loop that your brain is going in?
No, I'm appealing to unlimited consciousness, what God, because He knows everything, and He must exist in order for knowledge to exist. Because knowledge is justified true belief.
We'll see who's right, and definitely He's not here today.
So what is your
school books they got right?
What is your definition of knowledge? How do you know things? How can you be sure of anything? So you claim that God doesn't exist, but you don't. You claim that God doesn't exist, but what is your criteria for proof?
All these fucking people so that they understand that there's good people out here trying to stop y'all assholes who are fucking trying to control other people's bodies.
So you're just asserting your opinion about morality, right? But that's a meaningless opinion if you're rejecting, because you're rejecting the objective standard that God gives us in His Word concerning what morality is.
Hail fucking Satan, all right?
Well, Satan's a loser, so you shouldn't follow him. You're going to end up in hell if you continue to do that. Ma'am, I encourage you to not go into a killing facility. This organization murders people.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. So what is your criteria for proof? How could we prove that God exists to you? What would you accept as proof for God?
Come down and tell me himself that He exists.
So Jesus Christ came down and walked on the earth and claimed to be God 2,000 years ago, and His followers wrote down what He wanted. His followers wrote down His story and His words.
They lied.
Why do you think they lied?
For social, political gain, for clout, for money, it doesn't fucking matter.
So
what? Be a fucking martyr.
So you're not trusting in what God says about reality, what God says about Jesus. Right. You're trusting in yourself, but you could always be wrong, right? Because you have limited finite consciousness that doesn't know everything, right?
That's the best we've got.
No, it's not. We have revelation from God. We have revelation from God, the all-knowing being.
Fucking chair.
God has revealed to us what's true about reality, so we can be justified in believing things to be true. We can be justified in trusting our minds because God knows everything and He's revealed to us what's true about reality. You got to put faith in that. Knowledge requires faith. You have to.
God is all knowing and God is all powerful. Why did He put the majority of people on this earth to fucking burn for eternity and so? What kind of God does that?
God does whatever He wants to glorify Himself. He puts people in hell to show His justice.
Kiss my really white ass.
God glorifies Himself through the damnation of people and the salvation of people. He ordains everything that happens. Who are you to judge God?
I don't do that.
Who are you to judge God?
I am me. I am the man.
Right. God is the standard for morality. He is the standard. No, He is here to help people. He can help you. He can be your Father, but you need to repent. You need to repent and put your faith in Jesus.
This bullshit. I've seen behind the fucking curtain.
Thank you.
No, just no.
No. You know that God exists, but you're suppressing the truth about Him. You don't want to acknowledge Him because you love your sin and you worship yourself. You know that He exists, but you've been rejecting Him. But He can still become your Father. He can still save you. He can still bring you into his family. You can be saved, man. You can come into God's family. You can come through Jesus. You know.
Imaginary friend.
No, he's not imaginary. You know that he exists.
Then let him do something. Let him make this fucking world.
No, you don't. You don't want to burn in hell, man. It's a place of torment.
No.
Fortunately, none of us actually going there. Consistency, and y'all are wasting it. Fucking young women.
Ma'am, I encourage you to have nothing to do with this place of death.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
I encourage you to never come back here
Get
again.
the fuck away. You don't fuck with her. You don't fuck with her. I'm here to defend that fucking woman. I haven't even seen her. I don't know who she is, but I would goddamn sure defend her.
Then if you're here to defend Planned Parenthood, you're here to defend murder.
Fine, I'm here to defend fucking murder then.
And that's evil. That's rebellion against God.
That's your fucking business. I don't give a fuck about your fucking imaginary friend.
Do you know that Planned Parenthood was founded by a racist?
Doesn't exist. Sorry.
Well, he does exist, and you know that already. And if he didn't exist, you couldn't know anything. You couldn't be justified in believing anything to be true.
I know what's going on with your church. It's a fucking lie. It's a lie.
But you can't determine what's a lie and what's not a lie because you trust in yourself, and you could always be wrong because you don't know everything, right? There could always be there could always be something you don't know that could invalidate everything you think you know. If you don't know everything, how could you be sure that what you're perceiving is true? How do you know that the scientific experiments you trust in are actually there? Maybe it's an illusion in your mind.
You can do that shit through repetition. You can do that shit through fucking what's the other scientific method?
Not if it's illusory, then you don't know that it actually exists. Well, okay, then you're just putting blind faith in your own mind then. You use blind faith. You're putting blind faith in your own mind, and that can't justify beliefs because your mind doesn't have all knowledge. Your mind doesn't have all the facts about reality. You got to put your faith in what God says about reality because he knows everything, he doesn't lie, and he reveals to us what's true about reality.
No fucking where.
Okay, and that's not
Yo, young people, y'all should know better. These older people, at least they didn't